So right now what I'm using on Ellie for the smoky eye is we're going to be using a primer, which we put it on the lid.
Primers are so important for a really clean makeup. It provides a really smooth surface for the eye, which allows for a much smoother, polished look with the shadows that you're using on top. And it will also pop. It will also pop the colors that you're using on the eyes as well. So it's kind of multifunctional.
And you can apply the primer with your finger, which I'm doing right now because I like to feel product in my hands. I'm a makeup artist that tends to like to feel product in the hand and use the natural oils to just sort of spread it on the eye. Okay, the second thing I'm going to be using is a highlighter right underneath the eyebrow. And I'm just going to blend that in smoothly. The reason for this is I just want to highlight the brow more. Now I'm going to use a pencil in a grayish sort of color. It's not going to be as deep as the actual smoky color that we're going to use to smoke out the eye, but it's another primer again that is not as dark.
Adding depth right along the lash line is going to automatically create a real rich, smoky lash line, which is going to ultimately create the shape of the eye.
And again, I'm using my finger just to soften the edges of this actual color, so it just doesn't look like a strip of dark color.
Yes, you want to make sure that all the edges of everything you do is completely smoothed out, so it doesn't look like you've actually painted by number.
Right. That's the key to the smoky eye, I think, eh?
Totally. Completely. It's all about the hues and the different shades of light and dark tones kind of intermixing with each other.
And blend, blend, blend. Blend, people, blend.
The key word, people.
We're going to take a dark shadow. My dark shadow is actually a black today. Don't be afraid of black because black is a color that can be blended. So I am going to use a little bit of that with a little bit more of a stiffer brush. You find that the stiffer brushes are more together, and you'll find that the brush, the fluff brushes for blending bigger areas is a little bit bigger and very soft. You want to use soft brushes as opposed to something very, very hard and more precise as this, because I find that you get stronger lines with a stiffer brush and you blend out lines with a softer brush.
Exactly, because the more elongated tapered brushes are flexible and will really smoothly apply the pigment within the areas of the eyes that go deeper, like the crease. And then a stiffer brush is way more advantageous because it will give you a nice compact finish on the lid area. So it's really important that you have a very tapered, soft, flexible brush and a shorter, stiffer, firmer brush for the lid.
Now what I'm doing right now is I'm actually, if you could open your eyes, Ellie. What I'm doing right now is we have the dark shade that was a little bit lighter than what we're using right now. And what I'm actually doing, if you could open your eyes, Ellie, is I'm going over what we have just done. But it's almost like when you color a picture, you're actually outlining the picture with an even darker color. So this is what I'm doing. And I'm focusing again, if you had watched the previous tutorial on day to evening, what we're actually doing is we're just taking the areas to which we want to pinpoint for that actual glam look. And that is right in the corner of the eye. Okay? And we're going to bring that color also down in through here. Now note, when you're using the darker color, you do not want to put the darker color over the entire eye. You just want to highlight the specific areas that you want darker. So what I'm doing is taking the color and bringing it along the lash line. You can close. And just blend. Open. Look up.
Already you can see how the eye is starting to look larger.
And build.
And
We're
build,
yeah, we're
yes.
building it. This is what we're doing. It's an essential building of color on top of color. Again, using other colors might be nice depending on what you're wearing that evening, but always remembering to keep the darker color in around the eye.
And it's at this point that sometimes you can play around. I think at first, if you're a novice to the smoky eye, you may want to stick to your basic light, medium, and dark shades, and then as you become more savvy, you can start playing with color and really go underneath with some really beautiful, vibrant shades like violets and greens.
And the great thing is that you can practice at home and really work with color. And don't be afraid of making mistakes on your first attempts. Mistakes can almost definitely be commonly corrected by just blending more. So I'm putting the eyeliner inside the rim of her eyes, just so that it looks more blended. And we're seeing the liner right now very vividly. And I don't want to see it as much because we don't want to look like we just have a lined eye. So what we want to do is we want to go over that with the brush that we use to blend and just blend it upwards, always upwards, not up to the brow, but just, and again, we're going to just use a little bit of our good old brow fix to go into the brow and around, and we're just going to finish off Ellie's look here with some mascara. I would suggest using a mascara that has a plush wand, just to give more fullness to the eyelash, and to you want it more of a thicker look on the lash. Right now I don't like to, but I'm using MAC's Plush mascara. And I'm just going to apply this. Now you can use these flirty eyes for any occasion. Any.
Careful.
Gorgeous.